Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Waldhart, and you are here with Amanda'sInspirationStation.com. Today, I have two thank you cards that I am going to share with you. I make a lot of thank you cards, so I thought, you know what? Let's make some thank you cards. So, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, thank you so much. For those of you who are joining me, who have joined me many times, thank you so much. Um, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not a subscriber already. It's completely free. You just hit that subscribe button right underneath the video. And if you like the video or you want to make comments, please feel free to share. I love to read all the comments and I like to see all the likes if you like the video. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to use today. I am going to be using the Flowering Tulips bundle. I think this bundle is very, very pretty. Um, I actually made a very pretty framed art piece for my Stamping Day Getaway All Day Retreat. And I will be posting that later this week. Actually, let's see here. I'll be posting that tomorrow. That was the second project. So I did 4 projects for the whole day retreat. And this week on my blog, I have been sharing it. My blog is Amanda'sInspirationStation.com. It's kind of my hub. It's where everything is found. It's also where my online store is found, where you can print off my buyer paw prints for those of you who purchase from me. You can collect your orders and earn $25 in free money, free product, actually. Lots of different things I have on my blog. So feel free to hop on over there along with my store. And we're going to use this one right here that says, "You are so thoughtful. Thank you." And we're going to make 2 cards. So one card, first of all, with this card, the showstopper on this card is truly the designer series paper. I think it's called Flowering Fields. It's 12 by 12 designer series paper. Both of this is in the January through June mini catalog. The DSP is what I was going to say. The designer series paper is so gorgeous. To me, you could put one thing on this card and this card would be beautiful because of the designer series paper. So for this card, we are going to do a little heat embossing, and basically we're just going to kind of layer up some different dies. So we're going to do that card second, but we're going to do this card. Now this is what I like to call a double card because it is a fun fold. So on this card here, we're just using 2 colors. We are using the Petal Pink and Poppy Parade, and this piece right here is part of that Flowering Fields designer series paper, and that's the 2 colors of it. And then there's this on the back, but I liked the polka dots. So when I say double card, I mean here's part of the card. So we have this part of the card, and then we also have this part of the card. Super cute. So you really could make this piece thicker or whatever, and you could put a gift card right in there and do your saying here. Or you could use a couple glue dots, put your gift card right here and a saying here. Or you could just skip the gift card altogether and just have a lot to say. So it doesn't matter what it is. It's just a double card. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing, so I will go over both these cards with you on how to make them, but don't feel like you have to pause, the video if you want to get the measurements from these. If you scroll down, there is where it says project sheet. I post all my project sheets right to this. You can click on that link. The project sheet will show a colored picture of both of the cards. It'll have a supply list of what we're using, and it'll have the measurements. It's completely free for you. Feel free to print it. And then the video here is your instructions. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with a regular card base at 5.5 by 8.5, and we're just going to fold it in half. If you want, you can score it at 4 1/4. I just fold mine in half. And then I use my bone folder, which I use my bone folder either way to varnish in that crease. Now our card's going to go this way for the base, but then it's going to go this way for the top. So for the base, we're going to start with our center because we're not stamping inside. So we can go ahead and put in our center. This scalloped die piece is actually from the Scalloped Contour Dies. It is the largest one. So this is the one that we're using, and I've already cut it out. It's in basic white. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm putting this flat. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal. You can use whatever adhesive is your favorite or that you prefer. And I'm just going to center that. Now, this started actually as a scrap. And I thought, well, this is a little piece. What can I do with this? Because I don't like generally to get rid of my scraps. So I cut it down to fit right inside of here so that I could just kind of give it a little extra funness. So this is a 1/2 inch, and it goes to 4 3/4. So 1/2 inch by 4 3/4. Now, again, you can print that project sheet. All the measurements are right on there. I, however, do not have it in front of me, so I'm going to use my ruler to remember. All right. So I am going to leave a little edge along the bottom, and there's our inside. Just a little decorative inside. All right, so now we have 2 layers here. Our first layer is Petal Pink, and this is measures at 4 by 5 1/4. So kind of went a little off the page there. I don't know why I did that. All right, so I'm going to lay this flat onto the card, just like that. Seriously. All right. And then my designer series paper is going to go over top of that flat as well. And this measures at 3 3/4 by 5. So we're just adding some layers, and see, I like how we match the inside to the outside. All right, now this piece right here, this is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. Now, for the sake of the video, I've already done this, but to get these polka dot patterns, because I wanted to kind of match the designer series paper, I used the Checks and Dots embossing folder. I literally just put in the top like this. I folded it, put the top in like this, and ran it through. And you can just run it through just like that, or you can fold it back, however you want to do it. So for the sake of the video, that is what I did. And I just realized I don't have a white piece to go in here. Well, we'll just make one because I have a piece of white here. So we'll do that. All right. So we're going to actually place this flat as well into the center of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place this. You can still place this first and then do your ribbon, because your ribbon is actually going to go around this piece. So we need a piece of Whisper White in here. And if this measures at 4 1/4, we're going to want our piece to go to be 4. And this is 3 1/4. So we're going to want our piece to be a 3 by 4. So I'm just going to quickly cut a piece of 3 by 4 there so we can have it. Because clearly I forgot to do that when I was cutting this card. All right. There we go. 3 by 4. And we're going to go ahead and place that on the inside. All right, so we'll just place that right on the inside, just like that. All right. Have a couple other pieces here before we do our ribbon. So I have another piece of designer series paper. I have this measuring at 3 1/4, and I do have it by 3 3/4. However, we're going to use the Pick-a-Punch tool, and I may have to trim off this more than one time. So I'm going to place it in here to make it a banner. And let's see here. Yep, I'm going to need to trim this off a little bit. Again, this was just a scrap, so I'm going to do this like 3 times. And let's see. Oops, that's crooked. So let's fix that. Let's fix that, shall we? let's see. Perfect. So I did it 3 times. I just punched it 3 times. You could punch it. If you even wanted it to be shorter, you could totally have it be shorter. I'm going to place this flat as well. I have it going all the way to the length of this. So it goes all the way down like this on the edge. Now, I have a couple other dies here. I have our circles, a scallop and a regular circle. This is from our layering circle dies right here. And then this piece right here is actually from our Stitched So Sweetly. And that is this piece. I'm actually going to put that like that because we're going to use this piece in the next card. All right. So I'm literally going to pop this up with dimensionals. So I have some dimensionals over here I'm going to use. I'm going to put one in the center, especially because I'm going to be layering so much on the center that I want to make sure that I don't have a saggy center. And this looks a little crooked for me, so give me a second. I'm going to kind of lift this up a little bit, hopefully not ruining it too much. And I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive right there. And I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to overlap this, and I'm going to place that like that. Now we're going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to get out my Poppy Parade. And I'm going to really ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it right in that white circle. Now I am going to place the white circle on top of the petal pink scallop circle flat. But then I'm going to put dimensionals on the scallop circle. So I'm going to place that like that. Very cute. And then the last thing that we have to do is we have 2 things. We have to tie our ribbon. I love this ribbon. And usually Stampin' Up! Always gets new ribbon. Ribbon doesn't last more than a year. I really hope this does, but I don't, who knows? I say I don't think it will, but maybe they'll surprise me. All right, so I'm going to put it inside here because I'm going to tie the bow right up here. I want to make sure I have enough space to actually tie a full bow. So let me turn this better so that's more visual for you guys. So I'm going to bring it up like this, and I'm going to angle that because I'm going to now bring it so that it is to the top here. And then I'm going to tie my knot. Now, I can slide this down after I'm done tying my bow. So I kind of want to get it tight there. I'm going to stick my finger there to hold it down. I'm going to get out like my little Mickey ears. I am not the best bow maker. I'm just going to throw that out there now. But practice makes perfect, so they say. So I do try. All right, so I'm going to push this down now because I want to bring it more towards the edge here. And I'm going to trim. I kind of think that I want my loops a little smaller, but I want to pull it a little tighter. All right, so this side's a little bit longer than that side, so I'm going to trim that off and pull that over to the side. And then I have these, and these are like my favorite. These Iridescent Rhinestones. Oh, you guys, they are gorgeous. I love them. I'm literally just going to place a couple of them over here. And I'm going to place one right here. So I did one there, and one there. There's our card. That was not that hard. It's just a lot of layers. That's what it is, right? I mean, you have the 2 layers plus the card and the inside layer. You got a lot of texture with the embossing folder, the different layering of the different dies, and then your inside. Super cute. Hope you guys like that card. All right, so let's go to our second card. Again, we're going to start with a card base of 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. Use your bone folder to varnish in the creases. Now we're going to have that go that way too. So with this card, I just have basic white on the inside. I did not stamp on the inside, which I could have done like a little, I probably could have stamped a little flower in there. A lot of times that is what I do, but I did not this time. But the inside piece and the first layer to the outside both measure the same. They're both 4 by 5.25. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my inside in. Sometimes when I'm doing thank you cards, I have a lot to say in a thank you card, so I do leave it open. But I am trying to get I'm trying to get better at still stamping a little something small on the inside, whether it be a saying or an image. All right, so now we have our designer series paper. This one is my favorite out of the entire pack, that pattern. And this measures at 3 3/4 by 5. So we're just going to put that flat. All right, so now I have a couple different things here. I have a, what do I have? Jeez, my goodness. I have a die piece here that is Stitched So Sweetly, and it's this one. This is the one I was telling you about. So I just cut that out in Petal Pink. Again, I ran it through the Checks and Dots embossing folder. See, now I'm losing my train of thought, so I'm feeling like, whoa, what am I talking about? It happens. It happens to the best of us. So for the sake of the video, I already did that. Then I already did this as my scallop circle, but we are going to need a circle because we're going to find the circle, not the next size that goes in here, because I want it to be smaller. So I actually want that one. I want more of the blue, the pool party, to show. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some heat emboss here. Oh, and then I have this white strip, which we'll get to that in a moment. So let me clean this because we're going to use the same stamp. So I need to clean it because now we're going to use Versamark. And we're going to use our heat tool and our white embossing powder. So I'm going to clean my stamp, and I'm going to just kind of stamp off to make sure it's all clean. Yes, it is. All right, so now I have my Versamark. Okay, we're going to do some heat embossing here. I have my white embossing powder, and I'm going to open this up. I want to make sure that I get this really, really inked up. So I'm going to kind of flip it over, and I'm going to just stamp it on my scrap cardstock, which is Poppy Parade. And I'm going to not even be shy. I'm going to dump tons of this white powder on there, okay? I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to flick it. That turned out pretty darn good. There's no little stragglers, which I like. If there was some powder, that was what I like to call the little stragglers. You could, this is my tip to you, if you haven't heard me say this before, I took this little brush out of a cheap little paint set that my kids had, and it is one of the best little brushes. Sorry, I have to brush off the white embossing powder that it's like gritty. It's gross. It gets a little gritty. But this is perfect. Going back to this is perfect for like just brushing any like loose extra stuff off, especially you have to a small brush if you have to get between something, but you don't want to wreck this. Little tip of the trade there. I love that. And I'm going to use our Stampin' Up! Heat tool here. I'm going to turn it on the highest one. I love how this looks, so we're going to do this together. And I'm going to get it kind of under the light here. It should, once it gets heated, it will actually not look like a powder anymore, and it will turn to like a shiny white. See how it's starting to turn? I don't know if you can see that with my lighting. I hope you can. Once it becomes that shiny white, just like that, yay. Now we can go ahead and we can put our circle over top and cut this out. So I'm going to bring over my cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to just run that through. All right. And then, voila, there we have it. We have our circle. All right, so we need to make little banner clips on this. So I'm going to bring out my punch again, that pick punch, and I'm going to this time hopefully like center it so it's not so weird looking. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job there again. Shocker. All right, so I always do this like fine when it's just me, but the second I'm on the video, I always put things on crooked or something. I don't know. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Okay, so I'm going to place this first over this die, because right now I'm just layering up a bunch of dies, and I'm not using dimensionals right now, so I'm making this all flat. But now when I add this to my card that I have embossing powder on, I am going to pop this up. So let's get out our dimensionals, and that one's out. I knew I was using up most of it. So let's get out our dimensionals here. I know, look at it, you guys. I love dimensionals. I am not shy with them whatsoever. All right, so I'm popping that up. Now I want to pop this up onto that too. So I'm going to make my circle. I don't want to pop everything up because then, you know, I might not be able to mail it for one stamp. All right, so now I'm going to place that over like that. And then we're going to add these beautiful brass butterflies. And I'm going to place one over there, one of the bigger ones. I'm going to do a little one over here. And voila, that's it. That's the card. See, this card to me is so pretty because of the designer series paper. That is why this card to me is so pretty. All right, so we have this card and then we have the double card. Both are just thank you cards, which Lord knows I use a lot of thank you cards. I love to send thank you cards. Thank you cards and birthday cards are my two favorite cards to send. I like to send those. I like to make them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share any comments or any questions that you have. If you like the video, please click that like button. If you need any of the supplies that we used today, you can shop at my online store at amandasinspirationstation.com. And if you want to print that project sheet, you can go there as well. All right, I will see you guys next week for my weekly Wednesday. And we're going to I'm going to give you a little heads up. We're going to use the masks that are in the new January through June mini catalog. And we're going to use some blending brushes. So we're going to have some fun with that. They're going to be 2 cards. So I'm excited about that. But also feel free to keep stopping this week at Amanda's Inspiration Station because I'll have all of my projects and stuff from last Saturday's Stamping Day Getaway Retreat. Okay, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.